thought, we're going to have to deal with like severe asthma, not knowing anything else. But boy, oh boy, it's not just asthma. Then, of course, one of the first things I looked at was the life expectancy. And that was enormous to swallow. As a parent, you would take it for your child, but you can't. We've been on this crusade to get Shanna Trikafta, right? Because Shanna is in that 10% of people that don't qualify in Canada for it. I want her to get it. I want it to be able to work a bit. And then all of a sudden, we can start making plans. We can go on a holiday in a year from now. We can plan stuff. Right now, she can't go on a plane. She can't leave the country. She's too sick. She has 30% lung capacity. That's it. Her heart's enlarged. She has cirrhosis of the liver. Like, name it.
My surgeon who removed my lung would be like, "You on it yet?" "Nope." "Okay, well, keep working on that. Assign a surgeon. You need to be on this." "Yes, I know." What do you want me to do about it? It blows my mind that a medication could do that. It would mean planning in the future, like 10 years from now. I don't do that right now. Because I can't. There's no point right now.
So again, a big thanks to everyone for being here for a common goal to cure cystic fibrosis. For those who aren't aware, and we got some explanation a little bit earlier of exactly what the disease is like, it affects mainly the lungs and digestive system. In the lungs, CF causes severe breathing problems. It is the most common fatal genetic disease affecting Canadian children and young adults. Approximately 1 in 3,600 children are born with cystic fibrosis. In the 1960s, most children with CF, they didn't even live long enough to attend kindergarten. So as Phoebe said, we are making progress, but it's never quite enough. Today, half of all Canadians with cystic fibrosis are expected to live into their 50s or 60s and hopefully beyond. So Canada should be proud, as this is the highest kind of average age in the world. Now I'd like to introduce someone who has experience, has had CF as part of her family, Caroline Warren.
Hey, it's very bright up here. Thanks, Jean. Good evening. For those of you that were here last time this event was held, you would have heard my 23-year-old daughter, Erica, speak. This Oiler event, as we know, is a long-standing event in its 32nd year, and she actually spoke at it for the first time in 2006 at the tender age of 10 years old. That was her first big solo speech. She stood in front of a podium that was taller than her, and she told her story. She spoke of dance and how it helped her to feel normal because her competitors and the judges didn't know that she had cystic fibrosis. 13 years later, when she stood on this stage, for those of you that were here, you would have seen a woman with incredible grace, courage, and vulnerability. This time she spoke about how her lungs had slowly filled with mucus and permanently scarred them, impacting her ability to breathe. She spoke about her hours of treatment trying to give her lungs every opportunity to keep her going. And she spoke about how she never felt that really big, deep, gravity-defying breath until she had her double lung transplant at the age of 22. When she stood on this stage, she was 265 days post-transplant, and that was her last big solo speech. 18 months after she gave that speech, my beautiful girl took her last breath and lost her battle with cystic fibrosis. So tonight, I stand here with incredibly large shoes to fill. Erica was not just my daughter, she was my best friend. And tonight I endeavor to have just 1 ounce of the grace that she had when she stood here 5 years ago. Tonight, I want to give you a different insight into Erica and what it is like to have a child with cystic fibrosis. I will share some stories that are hard to tell, but I know I share them with Erica's blessing because they tell a story of strength and courage and what it takes to live with cystic fibrosis. Erica was diagnosed when she was less than a week old. That diagnosis sent her dad and I on a very, very steep learning curve. Although a genetic condition, neither of us were aware of it in our families, and so we knew very little, if anything, about it. She spent her first couple of months in the NICU at the Royal Alex Hospital, and while her dad and I were spending that time trying to understand what her diagnosis meant, she was spending her time trying to keep the nurses on their toes, spitting out her soother as soon as the nurse walked away, always wanting more food and more food and more food, and being somewhat obsessive with the swing that they had in the NICU. After 7 weeks and 2 surgeries, she came home, and it was time for our family unit to figure out what this life looked like. We had 2 challenges to tackle in her first year: physio and enzymes. We started chest physio on her when she was 4 months old, when she had her first signs of a cold. We were taught how to do it in the hospital, and it was this rather gentle tap on the chest and under each arm and on her back. She was tipped downward, and we just had to do 5 minutes aside. Sounded simple enough, but when we got home, she was unimpressed. She wriggled, and of course, when I tried to hold her tight in that position to do her physio, she cried. We tried different things, and nothing seemed to appease her until we started tapping her harder. This light little tap was not going to work for my girl. She needed a pounding. So as soon as we started pounding her, it put her to sleep. And we learned, you know what? We need to do this Erica's way. The second challenge we had was her enzymes. As Erica could not digest her food, we had to get enzymes in her before she could eat. These enzymes were a powder that were in a capsule, and we would open the capsule and empty the contents onto her food. This was supposed to be the routine until she was about 2, and then hopefully she would be able to swallow the capsule. But her determination shone through, as when she sat in her high chair, she kept grabbing at the capsule as though she wanted to eat it. So just after her first birthday, her dad and I decided to go for it. He was ready to do that Heimlich maneuver, and we were ready to let her grab a capsule and eat it. She did. She grabbed it, she swallowed it whole. And then she did it again, and then she did it at the next meal and the next meal. And then we told her CF specialist. To this day, I'm still unsure if he was impressed with her for swallowing a pill long before she was supposed to, or unimpressed with us for letting her. But either way, between her wish for a solid physio treatment and her determination to swallow whole pills long before she could, this girl was going to be a force to be reckoned with. Life with Erica continued that way for several years, her strength and mental toughness showing through in her day-to-day life with a very healthy dose of sassiness. I remember she went to daycare when she was 4 years old, and they brought her pills with her lunch. And one of the other kids at the daycare asked her what they were. The daycare worker told me she got a little sassy and told him it was her lunch and he couldn't have any of it, including her pills. I don't think he sat beside her again. But then at the age of 6, she had her first hospital stay, on her birthday nonetheless. She didn't understand it, but she rolled with it. 14 days with an IV and taking Pete the pole, which was the nickname she gave her IV pole, with her everywhere she went. At that point, a hospital stay was an adventure. She got to choose what she wanted for her meals, which she did not get to do at home, and people kept showing up to play with her and brought her new toys. I mean, how could this be bad? But as time went on, Erica did start to understand that she was different. Not everyone took pills, not everyone did physio, and certainly not everybody's mom dragged them to events to speak about CF. Once we went to do a speech and asked the audience to guess which one of my children had CF. Erica stood on one side of me and her big brother Brent stood on the other side. I talked about how CF impacted life and some of the outward signs. In the midst of the speech, Brent let out a fake cough to try to throw people off. And after the speech was done, the kids giggled about his fake cough and were impressed at how many people they had fooled. I can still hear them giggling at the table like it was yesterday. It was the most amazing sound to hear my kids giggle almost uncontrollably. But later that night, in the quiet of my house, it became a moment of anguish for me. I realized that the giggles were becoming less frequent as life with CF was getting harder. And although Erica was dealing with CF with every breath she took, the life that both of my children were dealt resulted in a difficult load for both of them. The simplest of things were not simple. Trips to the zoo or the park had to be planned around physio time. Time between school and supper could not be about water fights or building a Lego masterpiece because we had to do physio. And heaven forbid if I ever went out and I forgot Erica's medications, that outing would have to be cut short. What had become normal for us was simply not normal. Cystic fibrosis was settling into our family for the long term, and it was not going to get easier. In addition to public speaking, there was a forever quest to raise money. We had a new opportunity come to the board to create a custom stuffed animal as a fundraiser. It seemed like a great idea, but we could not figure out what to make. They had just made a porcupine for diabetes, and that made great sense with all the needles. But what would we do for a lung disease? We were stuck. So I came home and I shared the dilemma with my 12-year-old girl, Erica. And after I finished the problem, she casually said, "Make a skunk," like it was the most obvious thing in the world. And I looked at her and I said, "Why? Why would we make a skunk, Erica?" And she said, "Because CF stinks." About 3 months later, my garage was full, and I mean full of boxes of Skelly the skunk. And not long after that, we had the 2007 running of this Oiler event. Ethan Morrow was our honorary chair, and he sat beside Erica, and he asked her, he said, "Can I buy a box of your skunks?" And she just kind of looked at him in a shy voice, and Erica was very rarely shy. She told him, "That would be okay." Then she turned to me and she whispered, "He wants a whole box." From that point, Erica became a champion in the fight against CF, not because I was taking her places and asking her to participate, but because it was where she wanted to be. And in the years to come, she would join Facebook groups and text other children that had CF, even when she was in the hospital, finding ways to be supportive of them and give them strength through their battle. As Erica moved towards her teenage years, her disease progressed. We went to the CF clinic for a regular appointment, and a doctor told her she had to go into the hospital for 2 weeks. She started to cry. She never cried at clinic. She cried when they took her blood, and sometimes she cried after clinic, but she never cried in front of Dr. Zuberbuehler. So he said, "I'll make you a deal. If you go home and do a lot of physio," he would see her in 1 week, and if she was better, maybe she wouldn't have to go into the hospital. She agreed, and so he gave us our marching orders. Physio every 4 hours, around the clock, for 4 days. This was twice as much physio as we typically did. Then every 6 hours for 3 days. And then he added some inhaled medication and sent us on our way. With the duration of the physio and the inhaled medications, the bottom line was that sometimes there was barely an hour between treatments. But she was tough, and the days of almost no sleep were worth it, because 1 week later when we went back, she didn't have to go into the hospital. And for once, we felt like we went to the doctor and got good news. The good news was always very short-lived, though. As her disease continued to progress, her hospital stays became more frequent, and the impact of her hospital stays were less pronounced, and she knew it. For a period of about a month, she was angry. She was simply angry. She was doing everything her doctors had asked her to do, but she was still losing that precious lung function. So I sat down with her and I told her I wanted her to go to her room, close the door, and do whatever she needed to do. Throw things, I can replace them. yell, I didn't care, say whatever she needed to say and do whatever she needed to do. So she went to her room, and for almost an hour she screamed, and she yelled, and then she screamed some more. I sat on the floor outside her room and listened as she yelled. She said things like, I hate my life. I just want to die. I wish I was never born, and I can't do this anymore. Over and over and over. I just sat on the floor, desperately wishing I could take away her pain and knowing that I couldn't. I wanted to go to her room and stop her, but I had promised her this space to do what she needed to do. And then there was this brief moment of quiet, and it was followed by a very quiet cry. And at that moment, I went in and I held her, and we just cried until she fell asleep. That night, cystic fibrosis truly broke us. And for me, the very simple fact that I couldn't fix this was suddenly very real and very terrifying. Erica continued to fight. She endured a feeding tube for 6 months when she lost a frightening amount of weight. She would go toe-to-toe with her doctors when she thought they weren't listening to her. She was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis-related diabetes. She carried an oxygen tank to work and to school. And finally, when all other options were exhausted, the doctors talked to her about a double lung transplant. The odds were in her favor for that she would get at least another 10 years of quality life, and her current lungs would likely not last another 2. Inspired not only by those statistics, but by people she knew that had had a double lung transplant, she put her name on the list. 121 days later, her phone rang. They had lungs for her. Surgery took 6 hours, but there were complications that required a second surgery 12 hours later. But she did it. She made it through the 2 surgeries, and 64 hours after she got that phone call, she was breathing on her own with a new set of lungs. That was the first of many milestones. The next morning, she was sitting and eating breakfast. In the afternoon, she was standing. The next day, she was walking. And on day 13, I took her outside where she sat in the sun and took so many of those deep, gravity-defying breaths that she had never felt before. And on day 20, she saw her old lungs. On her request, they kept them for her to see, and on day 20, she got to see them. She was very quiet and pensive in the room, and after we left, she seemed peaceful. I asked her, what were you thinking when you looked at your old lungs? She simply looked at me and said, I thanked them. These new lungs gave Erica a life she couldn't have imagined before her transplant. I know that she did not get the time she wanted from her new lungs, but I also know that if she had to make the decision again, even knowing how little time it would give her, she would make the same choice. The transplant was clearly not a cure, but those lungs gave her a new life. Those lungs gave her the opportunity to go to France and Spain and see the Gothic architecture she so loved. Those lungs gave her the chance to fall in love. They gave her the opportunity to work in a career that she had a tremendous passion for, and they gave her the independence she needed to buy her own home. Those lungs gave her time to live the life a young adult should live, and I will forever be grateful to the family that truly gave her the gift of life. And today I am also incredibly grateful for everyone in this room. For those of you that have supported cystic fibrosis through the years, your generosity gave me more time with Erica. Your charity helped develop drugs that prolonged the life of her old lungs. For those of you that are newly supporting CF, I know that your kindness will help us get to a point that parents don't have to say goodbye to their children. To my strong, resilient, determined, and sassy girl, I am incredibly blessed that you chose me to be your mom, to be by your side as you journeyed through the incredible challenges that life threw at you. I will never forget the many lessons that you taught me. And to my son, my parents, and my amazing friends. I thank you for standing beside me as I try to navigate this world without her. It is truly my deepest wish that one day we will find a cure so that everybody with CF can win their fight. Thank you.
Oh, Caroline, that's incredible. Thanks so much for telling us about Erica, getting us to know her, understand her. It's quite clear that you obviously loved her very much, but you were so proud of her, and I'm sure she would feel the same way. And there's many things that will stick out from that, but when I love the part about the skunk, because CF stinks. So thank you so much. That was, wow, unbelievable. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. We probably all could take a deep breath here, and we're going to move forward with the program. I'm going to introduce you to Brian Petcue. Brian comes to us from Missioner Allen Auctions in Edmonton, and while his day job includes auctioning off heavy equipment and construction tools, Brian enjoys giving back by donating his time to charity auctions such as this one. He'll join me right away, in fact, take over the microphone. I do want to tell you now about the key to a cure. So placed before you on the table is a unique opportunity. By giving a key, that means raising your key to cure a paddle, you will help us unlock support for Cystic Fibrosis Canada. By doing so, share in our mission to end CF. While your paddle is raised, one of our volunteers will come by to assist you in completing your donation. This outstanding opportunity has been designed for you to make a 100% charitable tax donation in support of CF research. It also will directly assist Canadians living with cystic fibrosis in support of Cystic Fibrosis Canada's core programs: research, healthcare, advocacy, and the National Registry. During Key to a Cure, the auctioneer will announce the following contributions levels: $2,000, $1,500, $1,000, $500, $250. When you hear the level at which you would like to contribute, please raise your bid paddle high. Remember, this donation completely 100% tax deductible. You will be issued a tax receipt following the gala, and we will run this auction style. So Brian, if you could join me on stage, and so let's get those paddles ready, and he'll be able to walk us through the different levels. He'll have the numbers, and we'll let you take over. Thank you, Brian.
All right, thank you so much, Gene. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start where everybody can raise their hand or their paddle and add to donating funds for the cure. So the first one up is a $250 donation. It'll support the development and mental health resources for people with CF and caregivers that can be used in the Edmonton and Calgary CF clinics. So can we see the raise of paddles? Volunteers, we've got paddles there. And on this side, we got a paddle right there. It's hard to see with these. We got a paddle down in front. You don't. Raise your hands then. Raise your glass, raise your hands. Have we got volunteers going to these? Okay. Do you want me to move on to the next one then, or just hold on? Okay, so the next one is the $500 donation. Fund a graduate student for 1 week to investigate new ways to tackle antibiotic resistance in the CF lung infections for $500. Let's see, raise your paddles. We've got one there, one in the back, one right down here in front, one way in the back there, and any on that side. So just keep your paddles up for a second. We'll get somebody over to you. All right. Stacy, next one?
Yeah, we can go. People can just fill out the amount they want.
Okay. So the next one is a $1,000 donation. This donation will support a week of research to adapt the therapy program to a virtual format so CF patients suffering from depression and anxiety can easily meet with a therapist. So that's got to be a big help to these folks, where they can sit and talk to somebody with care. We've got a whole bunch of paddles down in front here. The volunteers will get to you, as fast as possible. So remember your donation. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, the next one is a $1,500 donation. This will fund training and travel expenses for one volunteer to go to Parliament to help advocate for the access of life-changing medicines for all of those who can benefit, including Canadians with the rare CF mutations. So $1,500, we get somebody down to Parliament to lobby on behalf of the patients. And we got paddles up for that one. So that one would be $1,500. And these, again, I believe, Gene, are all tax-deductible donations. Okay? All right, and so for the big one, $2,000 donation, this donation will support 265 families or individuals affected by the cystic fibrosis with tools, educational material they need to help them understand cystic fibrosis and live a better quality of life. You can give us your key to support families living with CF and show them that they're not alone and that you stand with them. So that's a $2,000 donation. So if you raise their paddle, I'm sure the volunteers will get to you. Again, these are all tax deductible. We've got one over here, right down there in the front. All right, Stacy, should I go ahead and start? Where'd you go? Okay. You want me to start? Or just give them a minute? Okay.
Thank you for your patience. If you're wanting to make a donation, please just lift your paddle and we'll get around. I think that this is such an important part of the evening. I have to say that Carolyn was one of the very first people I met after Carter's diagnosis, and I was like, she's a force to be reckoned with, and if I was going to model myself after somebody, it was going to be her, because she told me if she couldn't take the disease from Erica, she was going to fight like hell until she found something, and that's what our family's done. So Carter, I think, took your speech pretty hard too, because he modeled himself after Erica. Erica was a spitfire and stood up and never was afraid to tell her story. And so this is just such an important part of the night, because Carolyn has made the ultimate sacrifice, and she's still here fighting for all of the rest of us. So I just really thank all of you. It's so important for you guys to be helping out tonight, and just really, really thank you. So Carolyn, you're a champion and always will be, and thanks.
Let the volunteers kind of catch up with you, and then we will go right into the live auction. Have we missed anybody who raised the paddle? If you can raise the paddle one more time. I know we had lots of volunteers at this table. Okay, I think we'll get going on the live auction part. This is where it's supposed to be fun. Bob Stauffer came in up to me, he said this evening, he said, "Are you nervous?" I said, "No, I've kind of done this before." And then you start hear the amount of money that's been raised by Ryan and his wife and this whole system. And then they look at me to raise that money. So now the pressure's on, Bob, and I do feel the pressure. But the first item up, and it's a fun item, get your hands in the air. I've got 2 ringmen out there. If you don't see them, raise your hand. 3 ringmen. Make lots of noise. Stand up. Don't wink, because I can't see it. All right, first item up, or lot up, is an autographed hockey Oiler jersey for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So Nuge is here. He obviously showed his tremendous hockey skills last night and the art of back checking, because that's all I've heard for 24 hours is that one back check. So this jersey will be a fantastic addition to anybody's collection, and the package we've added to it this year includes 2 tickets to the Oilers versus Arizona Coyotes on April 12th. Section 112 seats Section 112, row 12, seats 15 and 16, donated by Shane Clemmer, and then a $200 gift certificate and donated by Continental Treats Jasper Avenue location. So not only is it the sweater, you got a hockey game and some treats. So on this one, we're going to start where everybody can play. Who give me 500 and go? Start us off. 5. Thank you. Now 600. I got 5 there. Now 6. 6. 7. $600 bid. Now 7. 7. 8. 7. 8. 7. 8. 8 and then 9. 9. Got to go 9. 8 here. Now 900. 8 bid 900. $800 bid and then 9. 9. Got to go 900. 8 bid 900. 900, thank you now, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, thank you now, 1,100, 1,100, 1,000 bid 1,100, 1,000 now, 1,100, 1,100, no friends at an auction, 1,000, 1,100, 1,000 now, 1,100, 1,100, 1,000 bid 1,100. I'll tell you what, how about 10 and a half? I got money over there, I need 10 and a half. Now 1,100, now 1,150, now 1,200, now 1,200, now 1,200, now 1,250. 1,250 now, 13 now, 1350 now, 1,400, now 1,550, 1,550. You can't stop now. 1,600, 1,550, 1,600. Tell you what, let's go where the big guys play. 1,700, 17. We're going to get way past that anyway. 17. It takes less muscles to go like this than like this. So I got 16, 17, 1,800, 18. Don't let her give you a licking. 18, 17 now, 18. At 17 now, 18, 18, 18 now, 1,900, 1,900, 1,900. I'll get more out of him. Trust me, I'm in the business. 19, now 2. Don't make me a liar. 2. I got 1,900 now, 2. Got to go 2,000. It's only money. They print it all day. 2, 21. 2 now, 21. 2 bid 21, 21. 2 now, 21. I got 2,000. Don't stop now. 21. 21. You don't want to be the bridesmaid. 21. 2 bid 21. 2 now 21. 1 got to go 1. Anybody else? 2,100. You got 21? Now 22. 21 now 2. Got to go 2. 22. 22. 21 now 22. $2,100 bid now 2. You just about owned it. 2,200. Look. You got 22. Yes. 23, now 24, 23 and 24, 23 now, 24, 4. I can do this all night. I don't have to work till the morning. 23 and 24, 23 now, 24, 24, 20 now, 4, 23 and 24. Yeah. Tell her she looks beautiful. 23, 24. You've got gorgeous eyes. 23, 24. It's not what you sell, it's how you sell it. 23, 24. 2,300 now, 24. We got to go for 23 now, 24. Sold it to that gentleman for $2,300. Wasn't that fun? So I'm not even going to say what the next slot is. Why don't you just, young lady, why don't you just give me $1,000 and I won't tell you what you may buy because it's going to go way more than $1,000. Trust me, I'm in the business. Yeah, well, I lied. All right, lot 2 is the Ultimate Oiler Alumni Experience Package. Unparalleled opportunity to witness Oilers' regular season home game from the press box, accompanied by Oilers alumni member, and enjoy the privilege of accessing the elite alumni lounge in Rogers Place and the convenience. This is where it makes it all worthwhile. Underground parking. You guys laughed. Have you parked downtown lately? So for 2 people, press box passes. You get to watch the game with Curtis Joseph. He's sitting in the crowd, so let's make sure it goes for a lot. And that includes food and beverage, and one underground heated parking at Rogers, and it's a one-of-a-kind of experience. So from the press box with an alumni, Curtis Joseph, and the most, oh, sorry. My son was a goalie. All I got is Curtis Joseph stuff all over the house. My apologies. And the most important part of it is the underground parking. Seriously. On this one, start us and go. We're going to get way past it. Who give me $1,000 and go? All for charity. 1,000. Start us off. Who give me 1,000? Go. 1,000. Thank you. At 1,500. I need 1,500. I got 1,000 here now. 1,500. 1,500. 1,000 bid now. 1,500. We're going to go way past 1,500. So 15. Now 2. 15 now 2. 15 now 2. You were on 2 on the last one. 2. You got it 2? Now 25. 2 bid 25. 2 now 25. $2,000 bid now 25. How about 22 and a half? I need it back from you. Now 2,500. 22 and a half bid now 25. I got to go 25. 25 now 7.5. At 25 now 7.5. 25 7.5. 25 7.5 now 3,000. And 3. You got to go 3. 3,000. I need 3,000. 27 and a half bid now 3. You got to go 3. 3,000. 3,000, just trust 3, 32 and a half, 3 now, 2.5, 3 bid 2.5. I'll tell you what, let's get excited. 31, 2, gotta go 2, gotta go 2, 33, double 3s, 32 now, 33, 32 and 33 now, 34, $3,300 bid now, 34, no halves, 33, $3,300 bid now, 34 now, 35, 34 and 35, $3,400 bid now, 35, I gotta go 35. The parking lot is worth 3,500, 34 now, 35 now, 36, gotta go 6, 35 now, 36, come on, one more time, I'll get more, trust me, 36, 35 and 36, 35 now, 36, 35 now, 36, you don't have to ask your wife. 36, now 37, 36 and 37, 36 now, 37, 77, gotta go 7, 36 and 37, $3,600 bid now, 777, 3,700. Your wife? You need permission? 36, 37. Haven't you heard as a husband it's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission? 36, 37. Sold it to 3,600 right there. All right, let's keep it going. I know Valentine's has passed, but there's got to be an anniversary or a birthday coming up, and you've got to probably have some good friends. So listen to this one. It's a double date night with the Chateau Lacombe. You, your partner, and a couple of your friends get a getaway for the weekend. Chateau Lacombe has put together this wonderful package. It's a double date dinner package. Hotel is the iconic landmark. It's offering a panoramic view of the North Saskatchewan River Valley and the cityscape. This is what it includes. 2 complimentary king rooms. 2 king rooms on the concierge floor. valet parking for 2 vehicles, so you don't even have to park it. It's better than the underground part. $300 gift certificate for Le Ronde Revolving Restaurant. A buffet breakfast for 4 in the Café Lacombe. What more do you need for a getaway for a weekend? Jean, your wife is here. I'm thinking you should be the first one to bid. Who'll give me $500 to go on the double date? 5. Thank you. Now 6. At 5. Is that 6 back there, young lady? 6. Now 7. 6 bid. Now 7. $600 bid. Now 7. Now 7. Now 7. Now 7. Now 7. Now 7. She's saying yes, Jean. 7. Now 800. I got 7 here. 8 in the back. Now 900. 8 bid 9. Money's in the back at 8. Now 9. $800 bid into 9. 9 got to go 9. 8 bid 900. $800 bid into 9. 9 got to go 9. 900. 900. 9. Now 1,000. 9 bid 1,000. Got to go in the back. 1,000. I got 9 up front. Now 1,000. Now 1,100, sir. 1,100. Either one of you. 1,100. $1,000 bid. Now 11. I got to go 1,100. 1,100. 1,100. 1,000 bid. My money's way in the back. 1,100. 1,000 bid. 1,100. Yep, Gene. Sportsnet pays you a hell of a lot more. 1,000 bid, 1,100. 1,000 bid. I saw your T4. 1,000 bid now 1,100. 1,100. 1,000 bid now 1,100. I'll tell you what. 1050. It's for charity. 1050. 1050. You got it? 1050. Now 1,100. 1050. Now 1,100. 1050 in the back. Now 1,100. He's on. He is on at 1050. I need 1,100. 1050 now, 1,100, 1,100, 1050 now, 11 now, 1150. 11 now, he's not on anymore. 1150, back to you. Now 1,200. Now 1,200. Now 1,200. Now 1,250. 1,200 now, 50, 50, 50. Got to go to 50. 12 now, 12 and a half. 12 and a half. I got 12 there. Now 12 and a half, sir. 12 and a half. 12 and a half. Sir, look at me. I'm the one with the mic. 12 and a half. 12 and a half. I got 1,200 now, 1,250. 1,250. That didn't take this long to build the hotel. 1,200. 12 and a half. 12 bid now, 12 and a half. Yes or no? He's walking away. Sold it to that young lady for $1,200. All right. In the business, we say raise your sights on this one. A chef dinner in your own home for 8 people. Johnny, my brother-in-law, this would be tough for you because I don't think 8 people would go over to your house for supper. This auction item is dinner in your home for up to 8 people, prepared by local chef Tony Lee, the culinary director of the Century Hospitality Group. Each course will be expertly paired with wine by the local wine guy, Ryan Chikolis. And I'm sorry, Ryan, if I didn't pronounce it right. I apologize. Baseline Wine and Spirits. Chef Tony was born and raised right here in Edmonton, has been cooking since he was 16 years old. He credits his mom for the inspiration in the kitchen, trained in culinary arts at NAIT. He's won numerous awards and attended some of the most prestigious events in Alberta and Canada, including the gold medal plates competition. He's currently the corporate chef for Century Hospitality Group that oversees menus at 7 restaurants in the Edmonton area. So that's a pretty good chef to have over to your house. Each course will be expertly paired with wine and will be served by Alberta's Wine Educator of the Year, Ryan Chikolis. For 15 years, Ryan has managed the Sherwood Park's oldest wine boutique, Baseline Wine and Spirits, and bringing amazing wine to tell some incredible stories about each selection. This is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. Gentlemen, ladies, it's a business opportunity. It's a friend's opportunity. And you know what? Every dime you spend goes right back to CF. They've donated this, so it all goes back to the cause. On this one, start us up. Again, I'm going to start where everybody can play. 500. At 5, now 1,000, 1,000, and 1,500. 1,000 now 1,500. 1,000 now 1,500. 15 now 2. 15 now 2. Young lady, I need 2,000. Right there in the front. This young lady right here. 15 now 2. How about 1,750? You sure? 1750. Now 2,000. At 2, hit it again. 2, now 22 and a half. 2, now 22 and a half. 22 and a half, now 25, 25, 2 and a half, 25. 22 and a half bid, now 25, 5, got to go 5. 5, now 7 and a half. 25, now 7 and a half. My guy in the back's got it. 25, now 7 and a half. 25, now 7 and a half. Get her back on. Beautiful brown eyes. 27 and a half. You got it? You're on at 25. I need 27 and a half. 25, 7 and a half, now 3,000. 7 and a half, now 3, you got to go 3, 3. Now 32 and a half, 32 and a half, now 35. Money is right up front, 32 and a half, 3,500. At 35, 32 and a half bid, now 35, 2 and a half, 35, 32, 35, now 7 and a half. Johnny, dig deep, 37 and a half. 7 and a half, 4,000. 4,000, I better be invited. 37 and a half bid, 4, I got to go 4,000. At 37 and a half, 4. 37 and a half bid, now 4,000. I'll tell you what, because I like them, I'll go $3,900. And there's no GST. 39, 4. At 39 and 4, now 41. 4 bid, 41, 1, got to go 1. $4,000 bid, now 41. Money's up front. 1, 2, 41, 2. 41 and 2, 41, 2, now 3. At 4,300, 42, now 43, 3, got to go 3. 42 and 43. $4,200 bid, now 3, got to go 3. 3, 44, double 4s. 4,500. 44, 45. We got an auction. At 44 now, 4,500. At 44 now, 45 now. Johnny, take it out. I'll give you 5,000. 45, 5,000. Let's see who's bigger. If I can, that's out of my, Stacy, 5,000. 5. Now 55. $5,000 bid, now 55. Double nickel, 55. 5 bid, now 55. All for charity. Oh, geez, he's been to an auction. 2 and a half, 55. What do you mean, no? I never get invited to your house. 5,300 because you're my brother-in-law. 52 and a half, 53. 2 and a half, 53, 5,250 to 5,300. Sold it to your young man at the back. And I know what each and every one of you is thinking. Let's get this guy off the stage. But here's the fun part. We have one more auction item that was donated at the last minute from your Oilers hockey announcer, Jack Michaels. And Rob Brown are going to pay for a round for you and one friend, Jack Belvedere, right? Belvedere. So for the opportunity to golf with Jack and Rob and listen to the stories that cannot be published. What's that? 5 hours. Jack, this is supposed to be fun, not a punishment. For Jack and Rob to hear stories that will never be published. Golf, and I imagine they're going to buy the odd beer. Again, this is all going to charity. He's got the expense account through 6:30, right? Okay. Who'll give me 1,000 and go on this one? At 1,000. At 1,000. 5 hours with these two gentlemen. Who'll give me 1,000? You got 1,000? Thank you. 1,000, now 1,100. 1,000 bid, now 1,100. 1,100, I gotta go 1,100. 1,000, now 11, 11, 12. 11, now 12. Oh, you're on at 11. I need him back on at 12. 11, now 12. Is that 12? 12, let's go. 1,100, now 12, now 13, 13, 13, 12, now 13. He is on. At 12, now 13, 1,300. 12, now 13, 13, 14. At $1,300 bid, now 14, 14, now 1,500. At 14, now 15, now 1,600. 1,600, 15, now 1,600. 16, now 17. At 16, now 17. At 16 now, he wants to own this. 17, 18, 18, 19. 18 now, 1,900. 19 now, 2, got to go 2, 21. 2 and 21. 2, 21, 2, double 2, 2, 3. 22 and 23, now 4. 23 and 24. 24, 25. 24 now, 25 now, 26. 26 now, 27. 27, 28. 28 and the 9, got to go 9. 29 now 3. 3,000. At 3 on the nose. 3 now 31. 3 now 31, 31. 3 now 31. 3 now 31. 3 bid 31, 1, get 3 now 31. Last call. Sold it for $3,000. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. CF appreciates it. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm going to turn you over to some high-priced help.
Hello. Thank you. That was wonderful. It was great. By the way, I should mention, I don't need you to get me in trouble. I can do that myself. So thank you. Just real quick, I might need everybody's help here. So let's quickly add that up. We had 55, 31, so let's say 8.6. Then we went to about 10. What did we raise? About 17, 18? 18.4. Thank you. $18,400. Thank you to you. Thank you to everybody. Okay, I'm virtually done here. We'll turn things over to the one and only from 6:30 Ched, from Sportsnet, and from Oilers Now. And I may have forgotten something else. I'm sure he's got a podcast. Here's Bob Stauffer.
The first thing I want to say is whoever bid the $3,000 to Jack Michaels, I've seen Jack golf. He should be fucking paying you $3,000 to golf. All right, we're gonna marry the two. Yes, you won. Boy, there's a lot of money at Fountain Tire, I can tell you that. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage my broadcast partner, one of the best. Well, yeah, this is how good he is. On ESPN, they have an encapsulation of the best overtime goals. The final goal call is Jack Michaels. On the NHL network, on the NHL radio network, they have two bumpers that use the final call, Jack Michaels. Let's give a warm welcome for Western Pennsylvania's Jack Michaels. I'm knocking over all these water bottles because it's not normally in my diet. He was such a good player that he scored 49 goals in a single NHL season, and then his coach didn't put him out for an empty net to get number 50. The mega talented Rob Brown from the Oilers Radio Network. Glenn Sather once referred to him as the key to the Paul Coffey trade that also brought Craig Simpson. Would you welcome to the stage Chris Joseph? And our next guest has played the third most games in Edmonton Oilers history. He is the single most beloved current player on the Edmonton Oilers. He's tonight's honorary chair. Let's give him a round of applause. The Dude! All right, so we have a lot of serious topics tonight. Is it okay if we have a little bit of fun and let her rip here? Is that all right? Let's go for it. All right, so we'll get the maybe tell your story. How did you get connected to CF? Because I know that you've been involved with a couple of different events, one on Vancouver Island and obviously one here in Edmonton. Maybe just give us the connection so everybody can hear your story, Ryan.
Yeah, it started, I believe, in 2012. Actually, Frankie, who is here tonight, was working with my mom, and she asked if I could attend the event in Campbell River, who Rod Brindamore and Chris's daughter, Kim Black, started 28 years ago now, so they had their 25th anniversary this past year, which is pretty amazing, and I attended it. I met the people involved, and I really just wanted to keep attending and lending my support, and then I came to this event in 2013, and I've been, other than COVID, been doing them ever since. So, I mean, it's really been an honor for me. I'm extremely honored to receive that award tonight. I will say that the credit all goes to everybody in this room and people like Chris and Stacy who dedicate their lives to this event or these events and this cause and live with this every day. So I'm just happy to be a part of it and definitely deeply honored to be here.
And what makes it more especially sweet for you? Having John Winwick and Chris Turchansky here from ATV, or having your mother here tonight, who's, of course, a pretty important, I would think, a pretty important person in your life over the years.
Yeah, of course. My dad has come to this event a few times. My mom has always gone to the Campbell River event, so to have her and our guest from Campbell River here tonight is pretty special. And I mean, it's an amazing event tonight, and I think we're all happy to be here.
All right, Jack. Because Rob and myself have been here before. Did you fight back some tears during? That was a pretty emotional story. I know I did. In fact, I didn't fight him back. I just let her rip.
That was unreal. And it's, first of all, thanks so much for welcoming me tonight. Really appreciate the invitation. Really appreciate the opportunity to kind of. No, seriously, I don't want applause. It shook me up quite a bit. It's funny because somewhat close to home, I remember growing up in the mid 1980s and not knowing much about the disease, and there happened to be a semi-local quarterback named Boomer Esiason and his son Gunnar, and that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. So to have the opportunity all these years later to in a token, I mean, these people, you guys are really throwing your support behind it, but to allow me to be part of this event means a lot. And you know what, to your point on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and I think everyone in this room, and he's going to be annoyed with me for telling this, but it's true. When I go around, I do a bunch of Oilers schools. They actually have a school at Rogers Place where a number of different schools come in, and inevitably, the kids always ask me, who's your favorite Oiler? Who's the nicest Oiler? Who would you be friends with? And I have to say, and it's not like we spend a great deal of time together. It's not like we have a deep, meaningful relationship. But without a doubt, invariably, my answer is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And
thanks, Jeff.
And I say that because he is very much like the host of this evening. In Gene Principe and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you have two of the most genuine people in the city. And I think with what's going on in the world, being genuine is an underrated characteristic. So it's very important for me to be part of this event, and two of the kindest people I know.
Rob, you do a lot of events with Ryan over the years. I know we have a chance to split some of them. He has this. I mean, he's the type of guy you'd want to, marry your daughter. That's kind of how he is. But do you ever see another side?
You can have my wife.
That's what we came for, right there.
It's funny. I do these events, and I've done a number with Ryan, and I've been with the Oilers now for 18 years. So I've been with him for his entire career. And every time I see him, I remember when he looked like he was 12 when he came to the Oilers, and now he looks like he's 16. And it reminded me years and years ago, Joey and I played on the same World Junior team, and we went to Ottawa. And in Ottawa, the night before one of the big games for Team Canada, that was a year they had Jordan Eberle and Tavares and all these players. They did an event for us because we'd won a gold medal with the World Juniors. So we're sitting up on a stage like this, and all of the World Junior kids are down below. And every time I see Nuge, I think the same thing. They're all looking, and Greg Hoggett kind of whispers over, he goes, "Look how scared they look." And I'm like, is it because you think they're playing the Russians tomorrow? No, it's because they're looking on stage right now. Look at how old and fat and bald these guys are, and we're going to look like this in 20 years.
You still look pretty damn good, Chris. Let me tell you, Chris, not you, bro.
Chris, I thought you were coming to me.
No. You look like shit for the last 20 years, but Chris, you got it going on, man. You're looking good.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
Firefighting's done you well, eh?
Yeah, it's been fun, but I do appreciate being here. Ryan's been an unbelievable ambassador for cystic fibrosis for so many years, and I'm just privileged to be up on stage with you guys.
All right, I'm gonna.
Rob, you pointed out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is married. Bob, just a reminder, Chris is too. So just so you know.
Hi, Andrea.
Okay. I'm going to steal Rob Brown's question from about 2 weeks ago, because we're going to get to the hard-hitting stuff, as you know. So, if the Oilers were to play Survivor, who would be the first guy on the team voted off the island?
Yeah, we go through these hypotheticals a lot on our team when we get bored on the bus, and we kind of went through it, and the consensus was Calvin Pickard would be the first guy gone. I don't know why, it just seemed to be the obvious answer to a lot of guys. So unfortunately for Cal, he's toast.
Rob, I think we know who would be the first media member voted off the island.
I don't think you'd actually get to the island.
I know one thing, I could float.
Actually, you know what? We'd keep you around because, you know, if all of a sudden we run out of food.
I saw that movie about the Chilean rugby team.
I thought Gene was going with the only cannibal joke tonight. I'm still not over that one, Gene.
All right, Ryan, tell us the truth. The team started the year 2-9-1. And since then, you're 33-11-1. Was it? Yes. Was it the coaching change that got things started for the Edmonton Oilers?
No, I think when you change coaches, obviously it's a wake-up call to everybody in the room. We weren't playing the way that we wanted to, and it seemed like every mistake was kind of compounding, and we were just kind of finding ways to lose the games early in the year. But no, I think, like I said, when some changes like that, we feel it a lot, and we take a lot of pride in our game, and so I mean, I think that kind of jump-started us. But we all liked Woody. He was a great hockey mind. Nauber's also a great hockey mind. So two different coaches, both two good coaches. I will say, the turning point probably actually was in Seattle, watching Bob rip around on the in public skating with a bunch of 10-year-olds.
You're using the word "rip around" very loosely right here.
Yeah.
He just about killed the poor little figure skater girl.
He had some head
Rip around compared to what?
She had it coming to her. Like, what's she doing a twirl in front of 400 people?
But
and by the way, those were plastic skates. I just want to set the record straight.
But you did deke out that 8-year-old pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't want to drop my Red Bull.
So I think that was, if that's what you're looking for, that was
I'll slide you the 20 later. Jack, you can jump in at any time. This is normally I'm sitting there. Well, maybe I shouldn't say anything here.
Well, this is your gala, so.
Well, not really. I mean, it's sort of a.
Well, I mean, I'll jump in. I got a story. My lovely wife is here, and I know that everybody here is a hockey fan, and I married the only non-hockey fan in St. Albert, Alberta. First time she came to visit me in Pittsburgh. We were just started dating, and I said, okay, when you come down, here's 2 tickets. And we have this thing called the wives' room. So you go to the wives' room. When you go in there, there'll be some food, there'll be some booze. You can put your jackets in there, and you go out and watch the game. So see her after the game, and she walks out, and she goes, oh my God, that wives' room is awesome. I go, yeah, it's pretty cool. She goes, they have a butler in there. I said, I've been in the wives' room a few times. I don't remember a butler in there. Yeah, real nice guy, real tall guy. And, I walked in, I gave him my jacket, he hung it up for me. And then I ordered drinks from him all night. Between periods, every period, I got drinks from him. I'm like, fuck, I don't remember that. Okay, cool. So after the game, we're walking out. And as we're walking, he goes, there's the butler. I go, honey, that's Mario Lemieux. He was injured that night and didn't play, and he was in the wives' room with his wife. Strangely, I was traded 3 months later. And she's a doctor, and she's a professor at the U of A. Yeah. Not a hockey fan, though.
You were traded before that, actually, right?
No, I was traded after that.
No.
Me.
Yes, you, Chris. You were the infamous Paul Coffey.
I don't know if I was there, But I will share a little story about Rob and I. So Rob and I played in the World Juniors together in '88. But before that, in '87, I was an 18-year-old rookie with the Penguins. Brownie was a 19-year-old rookie with the Penguins. We were loving life in Pittsburgh, but the drinking age was 21. So we went to New York City and we're in Times Square, and we thought, what better thing to do than go get fake ID?
Mm-hmm. What could go wrong?
So we're going to go hunt it down in Times Square in New York. Nothing bad can happen. So the green Western Canadian young kids, we get out there and we're walking down the street and we see these two young guys and they're like, come up and they're like, hey, what you need? And we're like, well, we're looking for fake ID. And the guy goes, that's what we do. And we're looking at each other like, what are the odds? So they're like, okay, be cool, just follow us. So we are going to go down the street. We're following these two young guys. We're going to go down the street. We're going to pop down to like some underground subway arcade, take some photos, going to make some fake ID. Great idea. So we're following these guys down the street, and the two guys that are leading us, they're like, hey, be cool. There's a couple of suits across the street. And so we kind of look. We're not cool. And there's like two street clothes police officers wearing suits, and they're kind of tracking us. And so we're walking down the street. We're trying to act cool. We go down the stairs, and we get maybe 10, 15 stairs down there. And by the minute we get down to the bottom, these suits are on us, and they're looking at us like, what are you guys doing? And you're like, why are you here? And we're singing like canaries. We're like, we're keeping us some fake ID. And they're like, did you give these guys money? And we're like, yeah, we gave them like $25, like nothing, right? And the cops pull us aside, and they're like, what the hell are you guys doing? These two guys were going to roll you for everything you had. Where are you from? And we're like, we're from Western Canada, and we're playing for the Penguins. They're like, get the hell out of here.
No, the best was they go, where are you from? Canada. Are you guys all stupid in Canada?
So needless to say, we got our $25 back. We went back to the hotel, and we didn't leave our room for the rest of the road trip.
Well, it's funny, Joey and I played on the World Juniors together, and I was in Pittsburgh when I got loaned to the World Junior team, and we had the tryouts in Ottawa, and then we flew over to Finland. Joey was actually on the national team playing in the Izvestia Cup in Russia. So he was joining us in Russia. So we fly from Finland to Russia, and we get into Russia, and all of a sudden we see the coaches. They're all, oh my, what? What's going on? Are you kidding? Oh my God. And we're like, what's going on? Well, apparently Chris Joseph is joining us here, but he's in jail. I'm like, he's in jail? He's an 18-year-old kid. What's he doing in jail? He's buying black market rubles, got caught and got thrown in jail in Russia. We hadn't even landed for 20 minutes, and one of our star players was in jail in Russia. So I should have known in Pittsburgh that this was the wrong guy to hang out with.
I was only in there for about an hour.
You know, if you were as badass on the ice as you were off the ice, you would have a 25-year career in the NHL. Favorite city to go on the road, and we'll start with you, Mr. Nugent Hopkins.
I've always liked Montreal. Great city, great atmosphere. Vegas is creeping up there now too. Actually, it's fun. There's great restaurants, and the atmosphere in that building is great.
So Chicago is not high on the list then?
Chicago is up there. Yeah, no, I like, especially when I first came in, the first time you hear the anthem and feel that atmosphere, it's pretty special. And the city's pretty cool.
Well, the reason I ask is everyone believes there's a Calder curse. No Oiler has ever won Rookie of the Year. Wayne Gretzky was ineligible at the time. And one of the mysteries to this day for me, and keep in mind, the United Center in Chicago is one of the most cavernous facilities in the league. Holds 23,000, and it held 23,000 for sure in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' rookie year. And I don't know how many of you recall, but he was cruising toward the Rookie of the Year award. There was no doubt he was going to be a slam dunk. Gabe Landeskog would win it that year, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was the front runner, absolutely. And the one mystery to this day was which of those 23,000 people sniped Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because he has toe-picked one time in his life, and it cost him the Calder Trophy when you went flying into the boards on your own. Can you describe what happened there? Because that's the one incident that probably hurt at the time, but you have to look back and maybe get a chuckle out of.
I love that.
Maybe a brief chuckle. Maybe a brief chuckle
about that. Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, on the ice, I don't know. Like you said, I toe picked, head first into the boards, left shoulder, done for 20 games. So I was a little wild. I think we were in Chicago. It was 2 days after New Year's, and we had a day off the next day after New Year's, and I think I was a little new to the league, and so I think it might have got the best of me a little bit, and I showed up to that game, and my skates felt a little different.
Bob and I went to break, and Bob took the headset off and asked me what happened. I said, I think someone shot him.
But seriously, like, I fell 3 times a game. I'm like, big deal, you fell once. Like,
it's the only time he's ever fallen.
I could fall all the time in Seattle.
Well, you did. You fell on a little girl.
Now, are you a fan of Montreal, Rob? Was
my favorite place to play?
Chicago, obviously.
I love Chicago because I was in the old stadium where they had with the national anthem. That was the best place ever to play. The Maple Leaf Gardens was cool. Montreal was cool for off ice. Toronto was cool for on ice. Montreal was cool for off ice. I wasn't fortunate enough to. Vegas was in the minors. And it was even more fun when you're in the minors because you really didn't care about the game the next day.
So did you enjoy the river views in Montreal? What was kind of cool about off ice?
There were a lot of dance clubs. I went to a lot of dance clubs.
Yeah. So it's a good place to dance.
Well, I didn't dance.
Oh.
But it seems like I'd walk into a bar and a lot of friends would dance for me right away. Cost me a lot of singles.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Chris?
Favorite place to play? Lots of them, obviously. Montreal Forum was sort of the cathedral of hockey for us. They had nothing but Stanley Cup banners up. The place smelled like freshly painted red seats all the time. It was beautiful. You felt like a hockey player. But when we played, there was only 21 teams. So the only southern team was Los Angeles. It was pretty cool. You fly down there to see palm trees. We'd never seen palm trees before. We'd come outside the dressing room and we're waiting to go out on the ice, and like Sharon Stone and Sylvester Stallone would walk past, and they were up to here on us, and it was pretty cool. So it was all pretty neat. But yeah, Los Angeles is pretty cool.
I just want to say my favorite stop on the tour is Montreal, and I'm going to like it more when Quebec's giving Alberta taxpayers $10 billion a year in equalization payments. There you go.
Actually, Nuge wouldn't know about this, but I mean, Quebec used to be in the league, and he wouldn't know about this part. Joey and I would. But when you sat out in a game, they had the best hot dogs ever, the best shun shows. Oh, they toasted their buns. See, all the good players, they don't get to experience the stuff that we do. Like, the press food was awesome. I played with a guy, Wendell Young, and I remember Wendell Young was our backup goaltender, and one night I'm sitting beside him on the bench, and he goes, "Okay, when the puck goes to the other end, kind of blocked me from the coach. Why? He had hot dogs stuck in his pads. So when the puck went down to that, and he pulled the hot dog out, he'd eat a bite and then put it back in there."
I don't know if they still do it, but in Montreal and Quebec back then, like the game would end and we would order 100 hot dogs. Like, not lying. We would order 100 and they just come straight to the room and everybody would just crush them.
We still do that in Montreal. Yeah. They still show up after the game.
Now, Jack, you were from Meadville, Pennsylvania?
Correct.
How's this for 6 degrees? Did you say Sharon Stone? Is she not actually from Meadville, Pennsylvania?
Technically Sagertown, but she was Miss Crawford County 1976. Yes.
That's weird that both of you know that.
Well, Sharon Stone won that event at an event called the Crawford County Fair. And I tend to shorten the conversation by saying I'm from Pittsburgh, but I'm actually from Meadville, which is a town not unlike, I guess, Bonnyville. I mean, it's a little backward, and sorry, I mean, geez, I didn't realize we had such a Bonnyville Pontiac contingent here tonight, but it is what it is. But we had a Crawford County Fair every year, and Sharon Stone won Miss Crawford County, and 15 years later, I found myself as a proud magna cum laude graduate of a 4-year university, back in my hometown, receiving my first assignment, very matter-of-factly, by my program director. I worked for a radio station, and he was running down the assignments for that week, and he kind of, right at the end, like almost like, just a throwaway line, he said, "Oh, and Jack, you got the ostrich handicap." I was like, what? What did he say? Did he say ostrich? Oh, yeah, you got the ostrich handicap. So I spent the next few days finding out what exactly the ostrich handicap was. If you can imagine, and I'm sure there are fairs, or it's not unlike the same machines you get at, K-Days or whatever. But there was also a racetrack, and you'd have a demolition derby. But I wasn't hosting the demolition derby. I was calling a race before 5,000 people in my hometown, where my dad was like a well-respected professor and I'm supposedly Mr. Smart Guy. Now I'm back in my hometown earning $4.25 an hour and calling the ostrich handicap. We're still not to what the ostrich handicap was. Well, here it is, and I hope none of you are involved with PETA, because I don't think, or PETA, or whatever the hell it is. But the ostrich handicap involved one ostrich who was standing next to me, and another ostrich, which was halfway around a cinder racetrack, with our 525-pound newsman strapped to his back. That was the ostrich handicap. That was my official sporting event, the first sporting event that I was paid to call. $50 cash.
Did the ostrich catch it?
The ostrich, with the rather heavy-set gentleman on his back, spun around a few times and collapsed in a heap of cinder dust. And I believe, even by Western Pennsylvania standards, that was a new low for treatment of both animals and humans.
And down the stretch they go. All right. Speaking of which, you have a love, horse racing. I don't know if that's a bit of a bad segue or what, but now ostriches do not fly. Is that correct, Jack? You finished university.
I was there to call
the
the race,
one of the five
not
of
to
us
break down what ostriches do or don't. That was
maybe you can educate everybody here just on your unique love and passion for the horses.
It's kind of been in my family. My mom's dad, my dad. They've been involved with it for a long time, and I got the opportunity to get involved when I was in my early 20s, and I've kind of stayed involved since then.
And you had a horse named Infinite Patience that did very well last year during the course of the year.
Yep, yeah, she's come out. She stays in Vancouver, but she's come out to Edmonton for the past 3 years for a couple races.
kind of sums up his relationship with you and I, eh, Bob? Infinite patience. He's got to have it.
Did you see the look on his face when he had to sit next to me? He's like, Jesus Christ.
That was the same look the other 8 people had, too.
So true. All right. I believe that. Let's give a round of applause to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Chris Joseph, Rob Brown, Jack Michaels, and we will turn it back to a man who is the definition of class, the one and only, the Prince of Pun, Gene Principe.
Wonderful, guys. That's, when you get some insight. Thank you, Ryan. That was great. Bob, Chris. I was thinking you paid $3,600 for that media pass, or you should get Chris and Curtis Joseph for $3,600. That was a hell of a deal, Chris. It's going to be great for you to host that. Go ahead, Bob. You want to keep talking?
I'm just going to go to a new table and wreck somebody else's night, too.
You know what? Ryan knows that he's in a results-driven business, and not every night is a lot of laughs. But when they're winning, I think I speak for all of us. We feel like we're part of it. We don't block shots, we don't back check, we don't win face-offs, we don't score goals or 100 points. But it just tells you something, I think, about oil country and hanging out with Rob and Chris and Jack and Bob and Ryan. I mean, this is a glimpse of what life is like when you do this for a living and why so many of us never retire, because it is just a blast. So thanks, guys, for doing that. And really, we've laughed and we've cried, and it's been a wonderful night to really promote cystic fibrosis. Stacy, you want me to mention raffles? What would you like to do here to come on up? Come on up.
Perfect. So many of you purchased tickets on a pre-raffle that we had. Sean and Michelle, if we could get you to bring up the bike. So we were lucky enough to have Michelle and Sean Childs, who own Pedigo electric bikes in Edmonton. They're a cystic fibrosis family, and they donated us an e-bike. And we had the raffles. So we did do the draw earlier, and so we'd like to bring the bike up and announce the winner. And then does everybody have their tickets ready for the 18-bottle wine raffle that we had? Okay, so we'll bring the draw drum up for that, and we'll pick the ticket for that right away as well. So we were very lucky with this donation. It was just under a $5,000 donation. So thank you, Michelle and Sean, for this beautiful donation. Thank you. So this is for the wine raffle. So the winner of the bike was Ron Vink of Lacombe. So they unfortunately are not here tonight, so we'll make sure that he comes and picks it up and drives it back home. Perfect. So then if everybody has their tickets out for the wine raffle, yeah, just stick it on there and then you can pick. Carter, you spin it and then Jean can pick it. Yep. So this was donated by Winter and the wine crew. So it's 18 bottles of various wines in a beautiful wine holder. So we'll draw now. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. All right, the winner is 35098175. Pink ticket. Wow. I think we got our winner. Have a quick look, Carter. Have a look with you. We got our winner. Fantastic. What's your name? David. Congratulations, David. You win lots of wine.
Tell everybody they have like 10 minutes to bid on the silent auction.
Okay.
And this is, the total is still growing.
Okay. That's from tonight. Wow. Okay, so just to be clear, you've got 10 more minutes to bid on the auction items, silent auction items. And so there's still some money to be made. This is incredible. Okay, so this is a running total for tonight. Wow. And it's still going. So $132,596. That is a record. So give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, that's it. You know what? Thanks for coming out and being so supportive of a wonderful cause. We had so many great stories that make us understand why we're here. So have a great night. Ryan, You know, we all wish you and your teammates incredible amount of success. So thanks for doing this, and thanks for what you do on the ice, okay? Have a great rest of the night, everyone. So long. You can stay till midnight if you like. Except for you, Ryan. You got to get home, okay? Take care, everybody.